Alright guys, in today's video, we are going to talk about HAVOC ROVER. We're going to talk about best team comps, which skills you should prioritize, and how you should play with this character. So let's cut the yapping, let's not waste any time, and let's go ahead and hop right into the video. Alright, so before we talk about team comps, let's go ahead and talk about which skills you should prioritize with this character. So as you guys can see, we're taking a look at his forte, which is pretty much his entire kit. And the number one thing that you guys should focus on is Forte Circuit. Forte Circuit is what's going to increase HAVOC Rover's damage. Like, this is the core of his kit, because Forte Circuit Umbra Eclipse is going to enhance his basic attack. So the way that you activate Umbra Eclipse is when you hold heavy attack, and once you hold it, he's going to enter Dark Surge state. And when he enters the Dark Surge state, he's going to have increased basic attack. As you guys can see, it says basic attack is replaced with enhanced basic attack, and heavy attack is replaced with enhanced heavy attack. So think of him as like Super Saiyan. Basically, like, he's like a Super Saiyan version of himself, and he's going to increase his overall damage. So when we come over and look at basic attack right here, look at all of these stats right here, but think of it as enhanced, because when we come over here to Forte Circuit, we look at skill detail, you guys can see that his multipliers are far better than his basic attack multipliers. So he's dealing way more damage in his Umbra Eclipse state. He's going to deal a ton of damage when you build up his Umbras, like the Umbra bar. So number one thing that you guys should focus on is Forte Circuit. Number two is Resonance Liberation. Resonance Liberation on HAVOC MC, he can do so much damage with his ultimate. It is crazy. Keep in mind, guys, my HAVOC Rover is literally level 50, and he dealt like, let's say, 5,000 damage with just his ultimate. That is actually pretty good. So his ultimate, you guys definitely want to level that up, because he can do some crazy damage with his ultimate. And I will say Resonance Liberation is his second priority. And then when we look at number three, is going to be Resonance Skill. His Resonance Skill, you guys also want to level this up, because Resonance Skill, he's going to use that a lot. So you just want to increase his damage. There's really nothing too crazy, but he's just dealing some good damage, and that's all there is to it. So number one is Forte Circuit, number two is Resonance Liberation, and then number three is Resonance Skill. Do not waste your time leveling up his basic attack and his intro skill. It is a waste of time. You're not really gaining anything from his intro skill and his basic attack. You're only gaining a lot from his Forte Circuit, Resonance Liberation, and Resonance Skill. And of course, you also want to activate the inherent skills so that he can become a lot stronger. And when you unlock Bleak Crescendo, he can basically spam Resonance Skill, like, let's say twice. It's actually pretty nice. Like, the fact that he can recover one resonance energy, he can literally use Resonance Liberation, not skill but liberation, a lot. So he is gaining energy for himself, which is going to allow him to use Resonance Liberation a lot more often. So those are like the top things you guys should focus on in his kit. If you guys are wondering which skills you should level up, number one, Forte Circuit, number two, Resonance Liberation, and number three, Resonance Skill. Now let's go ahead and talk about his best in slot Echo set. So best in slot set for him is going to be the HAVOC set, the Sun Sinking Eclipse set, because he is a HAVOC DPS unit. So you want to increase his HAVOC damage. And when we look at Sun Sinking Eclipse with the full set effect, it says upon using basic attack or heavy attack, HAVOC damage increases. So he is a unit that excels at basic attack. So you want to make sure that you're using the Sun Sinking Eclipse, because when he's using his basic attack or heavy attack, he's going to increase his overall HAVOC damage, which is really nice. And then when we talk about stats, so you want to really get some attack on him. You also want to get some crit damage, crit rate, and you also want to get some HAVOC damage bonus. So my stats are trash for now. I'm trying to get better stats, but as you guys can see, I got the HAVOC damage bonus because he is a HAVOC unit. So you want to increase his HAVOC damage overall, and you also want to get some crit rate, crit damage, and etc. So those are like the top most important stats when it comes to HAVOC MC: attack, crit rate, crit damage, HAVOC damage bonus, and probably some energy regeneration. Now for weapons, Commando of Conviction is the best 4-star weapon for HAVOC MC, because he is getting attack percentage, which is really nice. And when we look at the effect, it says when intro skill is released, increases attack by 15% lasting for 15 seconds. That is nuts. So when you're using his intro skill, when you switch to HAVOC MC, he's going to get a 15% attack buff. And on top of that, you can also increase the overall attack percentage he receives. So when you get more copies on Commando of Conviction, you're going to increase that rank. You can get a ton more attack when he uses his intro skill. So Commando of Conviction is absolutely busted on HAVOC MC. Now, for the 5-star standard weapon, Emerald of Genesis, this is also a really nice weapon for him. So if you end up getting this weapon on the weapon banner, and if you have this 5-star weapon, this is a great weapon to equip on HAVOC MC because it's going to increase his overall crit rate. And then when we look at the effect, it's going to increase his energy regeneration. And it says when resonance skill is released, increases attack by 6%, stacking up to 2 times. This effect lasts for 10 seconds. So he's getting energy regeneration, he is increasing his own attack, and he's also increasing crit rate. So Emerald of Genesis is his best in slot, but if you can't get this weapon, then I highly recommend you guys to go for the 4-star weapon, Commando of Conviction. Now let's go ahead and talk about teams. So this is currently the best team for HAVOC MC because when we take a look at these characters, when we click Senhua, as you guys can see, Senhua is a basic attack damage deepen character. What that means is the next character gains 38% basic attack damage deepen for 14 seconds or until they are switched off the field. So let's say you swap in HAVOC MC while you're using Senhua. HAVOC MC is going to get a 38% basic attack damage buff, which is crazy. So Senhua is the best support unit for HAVOC MC because of that basic attack buff. Because you guys already know, for his Forte circuit, his, let's say, Super Saiyan state, when he enters that form, he is going to deal a ton of basic attack damage. All that is that his basic attack is just enhanced and it still counts as basic attack. So Senhua is going to increase his Forte circuit by an additional 38%, which is really nice. And of course, we have Verena. Verena is going to focus on healing, and on top of that, she's going to increase his overall damage. Now, the thing for Verena is, if I come over here and we take a look at Verena, you guys really want to give Verena's inherent skill Gift of Nature, because Gift of Nature, she is going to increase the entire party's attack by 20%. So if you don't have Gift of Nature, you're not really going to get a lot of, damage buffs from Verena. The only thing you're going to get is pretty much her I think it's her Forte circuit. Actually, no, it's pretty much her ultimate or Forte circuit, I don't know, but you're pretty much going to get a damage buff from her outro skill Blossom. So that's the only time you're going to receive, a huge buff from Verena. So you want to make sure that you actually get the inherent skill Gift of Nature so that she can actually increase HAVOC MC's overall attack. So this is literally like the best in slot team comp for HAVOC MC. Senhua is going to buff his basic attack, and Verena is going to increase his damage overall, and on top of that, she is going to heal. That is pretty much the best team. Now, another character who works perfectly well with HAVOC MC is Dan Jin, because Dan Jin is going to increase the HAVOC damage deepen for the main character. So when we take a look at her outro skill, we come over here, we look at outro skill. It literally says the next character gains 23% HAVOC damage deepen for 14 seconds. So that is perfect for HAVOC Rover. So if you have Dan Jin, use this character with HAVOC Rover. She is perfect for him. But if you don't have Dan Jin, you can also use Senhua. So now that we went over his entire kit, his best teams, which weapons you should put for him, which skills you should prioritize, and which echo set works perfectly for him, let's go ahead and head on over to the showcase. So based off of Havoc MC's overall performance, I feel like he is by far the best Havoc unit in the game as of to right now, alongside with Dan Jin, because there's not really a lot of Havoc units in the game. We don't even have a Havoc 5-star character. So the MC is a great introduction for Havoc element, and I'm really looking forward to future upcoming Havoc units. So this unit, they did a great job with Havoc MC, and you can literally get free copies of Havoc MC by just simply playing the game. If we come over here, we're gonna come down over here. We're just gonna simply come to the city. So all you have to do, you can just simply go to one of these guys right here. There's like a guy who pretty much, when you trade in the Sonance caskets, he's going to give you copies of the main character. So we're just going to come to this guy right here. There he is. All right, so you come to this guy, you talk to him, and we're going to go ahead and skip this dialogue. And when you level up the casket delivery, as you guys can see, you can literally get Rover's wave band. This is how you're going to get copies of the main character. And one thing I forgot to include is Havoc Rover's his constellations and his dupes. Now for his constellation, I currently have him at S1, but the craziest thing about Havoc MC is S2 and S4, because at S2 he's going to reset his resonant skill cooldown when he enters the Dark Surge state, which is insane overall. And then for S4, he's going to reduce the enemy's Havoc resistance by 10% for 20 seconds on hit. So I feel like S2 and S4, you definitely want to go for at least 4 copies on Havoc MC. If you end up getting him at S4, he's going to be absolutely cracked. And everybody can do that. All you have to do is play the game. That's all you have to do. Play the game, collect those Sonance caskets, trade them in with Chimpei, this guy right here, this NPC, and you'll be able to reach S4 with Havoc main character with ease. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that this guide was able to help you guys out. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it, and I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.